Hey, so it's been a while, but I'm here to talk about Babel. I am finally finished with the book. It took me 3 years to finish, I'm so sorry, but I got this book gifted by my friend when it came out, so I want to say late 2022 to early 2023, and I got this gorgeous special edition book cover sleeve for it, and it is so beautiful. I love dark academia, it's one of my favorite genres, but not a lot of people can do it right. I already did a video on that. But this is the full sleeve. It's front side, back side, and then these are the flaps. So, and the other cover, the original cover, is also in here as well. I don't like this one as much as the UK cover. I think the UK cover has a very beautiful ripped paper effect. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, this one. Oh my god. I love it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I wish I had it instead. But anyway, if you don't know what Babel is about, that's crazy because this was like one of the most highly anticipated releases during this year in 2022. As from the synopsis, let's read it. I cannot do Italian. But anyway, an act of translation is always an act of betrayal. 1828, Robin Swift, orphaned by cholera in Canton, is brought to London by the mysterious Professor Lovell. There, he trains for years in Latin, ancient Greek, and Chinese, all in preparation for the day he'll enroll in Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel. Babel is the world's center for translation and, more importantly, magic. Silverworking, the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation using enchanted silver bars, has made the British unparalleled in power, as its knowledge serves the empire's quest for colonization. For Robin, Oxford is a utopia dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge, but knowledge obeys power, and as a Chinese boy raised in Britain, Robin realizes serving Babel means betraying his motherland. As his studies progress, Robin finds himself caught between Babel and a shadowy Hermes society, an organization dedicated to stopping imperial expansion. When Britain pursues an unjust war with China over silver and opium, Robin must decide. Can powerful institutions be changed from within, or does revolution always require violence? And so, my answer to that is yes. I'm not saying which one. This book is really interesting in the sense that there are footnotes all over the book. I love the footnotes. But it's kind of like in-universe historical facts footnotes, and I think it was really cute. It did add a lot of like nice little tidbits. And then at the end, spoiler warning, I guess this whole review is a spoiler warning, by the way. At the end, you realize like a guy wrote down everything and is, adding footnotes as he's like chronicling the fall of this tower at the end, and I really enjoyed that. I loved it. I'm going to first start with what I liked, what I loved. The translation bits, the etymology bits, the way that Rami and Robin stuck up for their black female cohort, Victoria. She is from Haiti, I believe, which is why she has a French name. Let me see if I can try to find a nice etymology section. These bars were engraved on page 225. These bars were engraved with a match pair. So the match pair is how silver bars work in this magic system. You have to do one word and then do the translation of that word. Doesn't matter the language, as long as you can link the translations to each other, then it will make the whatever device or thing or concept that you want will be manifested or improved or whatever, encouraged. So that's what a match pair is. These bars were engraved with a match pair using the English word meticulous and its Latin forerunner metis, meaning fear, dread. The modern usage of meticulous had arisen just a few decades before in France, with the connotation of being fearful or of making a mistake. The effect of the bars was to induce a chilling anxiety whenever the user erred in their work. So, but these silver bars are used for examinees to use as study aids. So if they're doing homework and they're using the match pair silver bar, they'll feel like, oh, I did something wrong, but they won't necessarily know exactly what they did wrong, and that's like kind of the failure of like how it's not exactly accurate. So that's like that's an example of what a match pair and what the magic and the etymology bits are, and also Rami and Robin sticking up for Victoria. I really liked how, you know, these are three people of three different ethnicities, and they've all like come together under a common cause, and that is the white enemy. So that was really enjoyable to read. I love the friendship between these three, and that ties into a critique that I have. But we'll talk about that later. Next thing that I liked is there was like a secret society that is like trying to dismantle this white empire, this white British empire from the inside. And they're called the Hermes Society. They are swift, they are quiet, and no one really knows who is in it because their whole thing is that they're decentralized. And so if some people fall or die or get exposed to the enemy, then the rest are going to theoretically be safe because they don't know much about anything, and like other members don't know much about anything. So that was like really cool. I like the whole concept of that, and the ending of this book was amazing. I kind of already knew because like RFK, she threw in a little nugget in the beginning, and I was like, oh, I know how everything's gonna go down in the end. So I really did enjoy that. With that said, let's go talk about what I did not like about this book. And it all stems from one character, Letty. So when I was talking about the 3 character friendships, I didn't say there was another character that was part of their friend group. It's supposed to be a 4-person friend group: Letty, Victoria, Rami, and Robin. Now, Letty is the child of, I believe, a semi-noble figure. I don't really quite remember nor care to like double check this. But she's the daughter who tragically lost her older brother to like an accident. And her father decided it is better to have at least one child in Oxford, even though she is a woman, than to have like no children in Oxford due to the clout, right? So she was chosen to go to Oxford, and she did have like a penchant for remembering and studying languages. However, she is still very much like embodying like white, like the mindsets of being white, I guess. She thinks that like the empire is actually doing good in the world by being a colonizer. She thinks that, you know, there's nothing wrong with having slaves, really. Like, that doesn't like necessarily like, it doesn't factor or like calculate or enter her brain in a way that it's negative. And throughout the book, we have scenes where Letty is arguing with Rami about the British colonization and settlement of India, because Rami is from India, and they're constantly like bickering about it. They're constantly fighting about it, and there's never like a conclusion. Rami is like always brings it up to like irk Letty, and Letty always like comes up to the occasion and does that. So it was like, even since the beginning of their friendship, it was always painted as Letty being the outsider, Letty being the person who will never understand, no matter how much you talk to them, how much you tell them and try to convince them of like the wrongs of the world, because she only sees things through her eyes. She only sees things that are convenient for her, and that is like very much what like white people stand for and what white allyship stands for. And then the added things that she's a woman, so she can understand to a point what oppression means, because like of her sex. However, once you kind of like bring in like the racial aspect, she no longer can see as clearly. And that's where her like empathies and her sympathies cannot reach. That is like a rift she cannot go over. And this is why at the very end we find out that Letty has essentially like betrayed them when they're trying to do something radical, and she like accidentally kills Rami. Well, we say accidentally, but maybe not. Everything happens and falls apart, and they have they bring this up 2 or 3 times that, oh, this is a friend group that would have like killed for each other. This is a friend group who would have like died for each other. And that's why they're so upset and angry at Letty, when I'm like, as a reader, I'm like, I never got that kind of vibe that they would ever do anything for Letty like that. Like, she seemed like just a woman that they were like forced to hang out with, because she too was not a white man, and that is why she joined their friend group. And it never stops being like that, no matter what they were going through. Even when they were trying to cover up for Robin killing his dad, Professor Lovell, it never stopped feeling like she was an outsider. So I just couldn't believe in the sentiment that Rebecca was selling here. I didn't really care about her. I think she was like very much a caricature. I much more believed and liked her character when it was like showing the white female fragility archetype. I really enjoyed those scenes, but her betraying them and like them being shocked and angry, I was just like, you could not convince me that y'all did not see this coming. Like in any other, like, there's no way, right? So I very much enjoyed this book. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. If I ever desired to read it again, I probably would. But I do have a bunch of other books to read, and I have another video coming up as soon as I finish a series. And that's gonna be kind of fun. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and like and subscribe. Okay, bye!